What's going on, Badger Nation? Welcome to the PPC Den podcast, your home for all things Amazon PPC tips, tricks, and strategies to make your Amazon advertising a little bit easier and a little bit more profitable. Today, I am joined by the one, the only, a campaign manager here at AdBadger, Michael Tejeda, tuning in from sunny California.
Hey, guys.
Although I feel like I've been hearing California has been cold and rainy.
It has been. It's been a little bit unusually wet for us over here, but sun's poking out. It's supposed to be 80 this weekend, so yeah, back to the sunshine.
What's it like living in a place with perfect weather all the time?
I don't know. You got to ask somebody who lives in Hawaii.
Oh, it's never good enough, right? The grass is always greener somewhere
The
else.
grass is always greener. Yeah.
The grass is always greener. Well, some place where the grass is greener is here on the PPC Den podcast.
Yes, sir.
And we had the idea of doing a rapid fire quick tip episode because, man, Michael, the last couple episodes of this show, I got so engaged with the topics that we were talking about. We're talking 4 to 5 minute, hour episodes.
Nice.
Who's got time for that? I don't know. But we wanted to do a quick tip. And again, the spirit of the show is to always leave you with something to go and do. So as soon as you finish this episode, you actually go and do it. So I prompted you with the question before we hit record, which was, what is one thing you did in the last 30 days that led to more sales, better ACOS, more volume, whatever? And that's what we're going to touch on today. It is in the arena of what I think is the hardest thing to do on Amazon ads. It's the hardest thing to do, which is scaling. It's easy to launch. Traffic's easy. Scaling is hard because you often want to scale within certain boundaries. Like I want more sales at a certain ROAS or a certain ACOS. So do you agree with that statement? Scaling's up there as one of the hardest things to do.
It is, especially when you have those markers of ACOS and ROAS. I mean, obviously, everybody wants it at a certain cost, but sometimes you have to give a little to get even more back.
Mm-hmm. And the last time you were on the show, we also talked about scaling, which was, I think the title of it was like launching 34 campaigns to improve your BSR.
Yeah.
And this is sort of in the same vein. And I mean, as a working with clients on a long-term basis, that's mostly what goes on, trying to grow things, trying to increase spend sales at an appropriate ACOS. What percentage, I'm curious for you with, clients that you've been working with for a year plus, do you do more launching or scaling existing products? I'm curious. Or does it depend?
It kind of depends. It depends on their growth trajectory. Right now, we're kind of in a growth mode with one of my biggest clients. So there's new products that are coming out. So we're kind of doing a little bit of both. It's about 50-50 at this point. We're scaling and launching.
I mean, that from a business perspective, the biggest clients that I've ever worked with are doing that. They're scaling existing products and they're launching new ones.
Exactly.
And I would say, on Amazon, it's paramount to continuously launch new offerings for your customers. By far, the biggest accounts and the most successful companies are always doing that.
Mm-hmm.
You want to scale existing ones and launch new ones. And we did an episode on that too, the Product Opportunity Explorer, where it sort of even tells you how many products are normally introduced in a particular niche by advertisers. So there's so many cool things there. But scaling, what would you say that one of the biggest challenges is with scaling?
It's just finding the opportunities. And some of them you have to dig for a little bit deeper than other ones. But really it's that. I mean, you're trying not to double and triple down on something that you already have coverage on. It's finding those new nuggets of gold, so to speak.
Yeah. This is a cool episode because we're just going to tell people where it is. So over the last month, you found another spot to reach out, to expand to a new area, to shine light on an area that was just sitting there. But we almost you almost need like a checklist to remember to go and do this thing. So walk us through, I know that it involves the new search query performance, which we've heard a lot about. So walk me through how you found another area to scale into.
Yeah, for sure. So it does involve the search query performance report, analyzing that data, really taking that data and watching it for, usually we watch it for about a month to kind of see where that data lies and where the opportunities are. So when you're looking through all that data, you can uncover some certain areas that are not touched as much, and that's really where it is there opportunity there? Can we dig a little bit deeper in that particular area?
Mm-hmm.
So we do find that that particular area, and then we expand upon it. So then we expand in a particular way. Right now, we're utilizing phrase, and really why we're doing that is because we're trying to find a lot more long tail exact keywords that we can super target on. So it's an expansion and a research method. And then at the same time, we're getting those gold nuggets that I talked about earlier to really push on further as exact targets later.
I think that makes total sense because, when you think of the head versus tail keywords or
Yeah,
root versus stem keywords, we're talking about keywords that are head keywords that are normally obvious and overt that you find right away from your own brain or using a keyword research tool of your choice. They just jump right out at you. They're generally one or two word keywords like shoes or running shoes. And
right,
then the lot of the scale, the long tail, is going to be involved with terms that are multi-word, like men's trail running shoes, size 12.
right,
Longer tail, that's going to get searched a lot less. So because of that reduced search volume, it probably isn't part of your initial sourcing for keywords. So you're sitting there, you're looking at the search query performance, and it doesn't really tell you what is in your PPC campaigns or not.
correct.
So how do you first sort of look at that and then say, well, I want to find the things that I'm not advertising on?
Yeah, so there's the other part of the process, right? Is what are you targeting currently, and then what do you need to expand upon? So it's always, of course, goes back to structure. So if you have the proper structure in place, then obviously you know what you're targeting with certain match types. So we know where we're targeting, and these ones in particular, I'm talking about our phrase that we're utilizing. So with that in mind, what do I have that I'm targeting right now with phrase match, and what can I expand upon? So it's cross-referencing those lists that I'm currently active on, and then building upon those. So usually we'll create other campaigns that are, I mean, we might have two or three of these sort of expansion campaigns that we're bolting on to the account that are really pushing on it and making sure that we're finding those long tail keywords that you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. So you're looking at the search query performance dashboard or search query performance report. You download that list. There's 1,000 terms there, and you compare that against your, sponsored products search term report, and you're finding things that you're not currently targeting, which is great. And this is very similar to another episode where you go into Helium 10, you download your organically indexed, what keywords am I indexed for? And then you're just bidding on the things that you're currently ranked for organically, but you're not for paid. So it's a very similar concept where you're basically saying Amazon already likes me for these terms.
Right.
I'm already ranked for them somewhere. I'm showing up in my search query performance report. Alternatively, you're showing up in a Helium 10 index report. And then you're saying, I want to go and bid on these things. And you're saying, add these as phrase or exact to be sure that we get the organic component as well as the paid component. So yeah, so this is like under the umbrella of sort of using organic data to expand your paid. And once you find the unique terms, you add them as phrase and exact. And I imagine you were getting to campaign structure because that's an important part of this, because you might end up with a list of 300 terms here, and just say it loud for the people in the back. You don't want to add the 300 terms to one campaign.
No, please don't do that.
Yeah. So yeah, talk to us about, when you've done this in the last 30 days, were there product considerations? Were you doing this on a per product basis? Were you doing this on like a product family basis?
Yeah.
Walk us through, once you identified how many there were that you want to add as phrase and exact that you have from the search query performance. You want to add them as phrase and exact. How did you configure it to go into your campaign and actually start running campaigns or focused on phrase and exact for these new terms?
Yeah, so really what it was is, I mean, we have our structure here where we were targeting the sponsor product exact, phrase, and broad for these particular products. And we even have layers upon that, which I'm talking about a product family that has about 25 variations. And it's always that whole 80-20 rule where there's some top products that we do have there. So we have additional campaigns that are targeting those particular ASINs. Now we have about 5 in this particular product category that I'm talking about that we do have broken out campaigns for, and then we just expand upon that. So really, what I did here is we took those phrase match keywords and then we added them as an additional campaign on top of what we currently have. Now, it wasn't overlapping. There's no overlap. So it wasn't like I was utilizing some of the ones that I was using before, because we're not trying to do that. With these expansion campaigns, we're really trying to find new phrases that we can build upon to find those long tail keywords that are going to be unique that we can add into other exact campaigns later. And just like you said, so we want 300 of those? No. We've been moving them over in very small sets. So we usually take about 15 to 25 max and put them in an expansion campaign and really try to push on those ones. Usually it's closer to the 15. We try to keep it pretty small because we don't want a high percentage of testing going on and research going on.
So let me just confirm that in this particular case, you had one product family which had about 25 variations. Because we're converging on campaign structure based off targets and campaign structure based off product ads, the products that you're running. So you do 80-20, and love this approach where you take your top selling. I'm just confirming my understanding. You take your top performing products, segment those out.
Yep.
And I assume that's it's probably just 1, 2, or 3 of them, something like that.
Usually, yep.
And then everything else is sort of treated as one elsewhere. So that's the product segmentation. And in terms of the keyword segmentation, you have a whole bunch of new phrases you want to expand on. And those you're doing in small groups, labeling them like expansion campaign 1, expansion campaign, phrase expansion 1, phrase expansion 2. How big are those groups of keywords?
Yeah, so those groups are the groups of 15 to 25 that I was talking about. So we try to keep those on the smaller side, so 15, just because we're trying to really test those ones and push on them.
Got it. Cool. And when you have that list of maybe 100 new phrase matches you're going to be adding, is there any thought around? I've seen it work pretty well where people group those things up by search volume. So if you're using the search query performance report, it'll sort of do that for you automatically, which makes life really easy because you just take the top 15, put them in one spot, the next 15, put them in the next spot, and then they are automatically organized by search volume. Was that the way you did it, or some other way?
No, that's the way. We looked at it through volume, and yeah, if we really need to push on a particular product, then we might do the second grouping of 15 as well too, and have expansion 1 and expansion 2, like you're talking about, and have it tiered.
Right, because even if you do end up with a list of 300 new terms that you're appearing for in the search query performance report, you don't necessarily want to just launch 300 new keywords right away.
Right.
That's right. Okay. Well, that's it. So what I like about this is people are always searching, and we're always searching for new areas of new keyword opportunity. Search is constantly evolving. People are searching different things, and it's just really impossible to find all the searches for certain products. And yeah, I feel like keyword research tools can sometimes not include everything out there, especially with long tail, which is where looking at like an indexation report, and in this case, the search query performance report, finding those terms, cross-referencing that with your PPC campaigns, asking yourself, am I currently running these as phrase, and then basically fire away.
Yep. And then once you are able to grab all those nice long tail keywords that are hitting and producing orders for you, then gradually move those over to exact, and you have nice new exact keywords.
That's it. I wanted to do a 15-minute episode where we just give you the action item to go and do. So next steps. Number 1, yes, go to the search query performance report, download it. Step 2, download your, I want to say, keyword report for your sponsored products. Stack those two on top of each other. Find the things that you are not running phrase match keywords on, but they are present in your search query performance. You find that list, and then you add those to your campaigns. Hopefully you have good campaign structure, so you just slide these right in.
Right.
Otherwise, just grab the first 15 or the next 15, drop them in and hit go. And you've just expanded your campaign. And then from what does really well, graduate those once more separately to exact.
And there's your gold.
Have a good one, everyone. That's it.
That's it.